Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead. So they just released the official Season 4 trailer for Fear the Walking Dead. So I'm going to be breaking down the trailer for you guys in this video. Now, they did release a teaser also for Season 4 a couple weeks ago. I didn't have time to kind of analyze it or go through it, but I will also be posting that tonight, so stay tuned for that as well. So let's just jump right into this. The trailer basically starts with this interesting scene, or sneak peek I would say, between Naomi, who is the new character that's going to be introduced, and Alicia. They have this huge ass truck that they're driving, which is interesting, and they're at some sort of carnival or amusement park of some sorts. They're most likely there to gather supplies.
I used to love these places. You ever been?
Been a while. They make really good churros.
Yeah, they did.
So one thing that I thought was very interesting is how decayed everything is, how old everything is. And at this point, I think there's nobody denying the fact that this Season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead is after Season 8 of Walking Dead. And there's a lot of hints for it, this just being one. The decayed walkers on the ground, the decayed environments and everything. So it definitely does look like there will be some sort of time skip from where we left off in the end of Season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead and in Season 4. That being said, we might not actually see a lot of that whole time. They might not even show any of it. They might just skip right into the events that's taking place currently. They might have flashbacks here and there, but I don't think that they're gonna do any extensive flashbacks on the time between the end of Season 3 and the start of Season 4. That was also another example of how decayed the walkers look. So we do have Naomi and Alicia killing a bunch of walkers. We have some guy here getting supplies. There's walkers in the back being stopped by the glass doors there. I don't know if they're in the freezer or if that's just the doors to outside, but that's very interesting. We have this shot of this other character that's going to be introduced, John, who appears to be some sort of cowboy or something along those lines. I'm very interested to get to know this character more because I feel like he's an interesting character. Just from what we've seen of him, he's definitely very interesting. We have Luciana here. The other thing that I do want to mention is that they're at some sort of community. We can definitely tell that for sure. They do even say that in the trailer itself, but they're safe. They're at a safe community. So it seems like whatever happened between where we left off at the end of Season 3 and the start of Season 4, they were able to find this new community. Now, they seem to have been at this place for a while and everything is going well. So there doesn't seem to be any conflict at this location like there was conflict at the ranch. We have Nick here as well. So both Nick and Alicia and obviously Madison and Victor Strand do make it out alive. Now, one thing, we don't see any Daniel in any of these teasers or any of these promotional photos or anything like that. So that could possibly be a hint that he has died, but I don't know why they didn't really focus on that. It seems like that character never existed, which is very interesting in itself. We have this shot as well. Now, this is very interesting because there seems to be some sort of stadium in the back and it seems to be big enough as maybe Alexandria or maybe even bigger than that from the original Walking Dead. And that does raise some questions whether this place will become a community from the comics that we will get to see later on called the Commonwealth. My opinion, I don't think so, but if they want to go that route, there's definitely that opportunity for them to do that. And we potentially could have Morgan, who is joining Fear the Walking Dead, join up with the rest of the crew or reunite with them when we get to that point in the story in the show. Again, we have this new character Naomi, we have Luciana and Nick in the back. They're just drinking coffee, eating eggs and everything. So everything seems to be going well. There seems to be safety. There seems to be growth of the community, at least from what we can tell. And they seem to be enjoying themselves, which is very interesting. I'm sure that's going to change later on. We have Victor Strand here. So again, we do know that he makes it out as well and he survives. Madison here as well, and they're all at this new community that we're going to be introduced to. Everyone, not only the new characters coming in, including Morgan, but also Madison and the other characters that we've already been introduced to. There's a garden there, so they're gardening and everything. So again, this just keeps showing us that this is a growing community and they might have everything they were looking for in terms of safety, in terms of supplies, and in terms of anything that comes in handy or is important in that world. We have Nick killing a bunch of walkers here. This trailer, it seems like it's a brand new beginning. It's as if the show just started and there was no season 1, 2, or 3. So it seems like they're basically pressing restart on Fear the Walking Dead. So I'm very interested to see where it goes and what we see in this season, because in my opinion, this season, it's like Fear the Walking Dead never existed before. And that's exactly how I'm going to approach it. I'm going to watch this season not thinking about anything from the past seasons. And not thinking about any of the storylines, any of the things that were left open or anything like that. I'm going to view this season as if it's a new show. So that is definitely very interesting for me because I want to see what happens knowing that it's going to be a brand new start. We have Nick struggling a little bit here. He has the hammer stuck in the walker's head, and there's another walker that's very close to him. I'm sure nothing is going to happen. If it was, they wouldn't show it in the trailer, but very interested to see how he gets out of this situation. We have this big SWAT truck that another new character is going to be driving, who we will see later on. And if you notice, there was someone walking along the road. It was just one person. So it's going to be interesting to see whether that's Morgan or not, and whether Morgan's first interaction with the first character in Fear is going to be with this new character. I don't know who this is. It might be the new character Naomi. It does look like her. We have this new character. This shot of this new character Althea holding her rifle, pointing it at someone. This other new character here. Strand and Alicia all pointing their weapons at someone. And we will see who that someone is in this exact trailer. But we do have John in the back as well. And we do see that they're all pointing their weapons at Naomi. So it seems like everyone's gonna basically meet up before they meet Naomi. So Naomi might actually be introduced last in terms of integrating into the community. We have this shot that's very interesting. We have Morgan, and he's kind of limping, so I'm sure that he does get injured to an extent during All Out War, at the end of the war, from the original Walking Dead. But we have Nick holding his hammer in his hand and watching Morgan. So it's going to be interesting to see their interaction and to see what happens here. I'm sure that Nick can't do anything to Morgan. Morgan is just too much of a badass, and we do kind of get a hint at how badass Morgan is versus Nick in this same trailer, which is my favorite part. We have John. We have a walker coming in, and he kind of shoots the walker.
Someone there?
That was actually very badass.
Back east. There was a fight. Big fight.
We have a voiceover from Morgan saying back east there was a fight, a big fight, obviously referring to All Out War. So this is I would say it's clear evidence that this takes place after All Out War, and it's not a flashback. And we do see him pass a sign that says, "Welcome to Texas." So this new community is most likely going to be in Texas, and Morgan is most likely going to be around the area before he actually integrates into the community, which I'm assuming will happen as well.
I didn't know how to make it stop.
We have Morgan saying, "I didn't know how to make it stop." Obviously, again, referring to the war, to All Out War, to the battle.
Good people died.
We have him saying good people died, not only that died during All Out War up to this point, but also will continue to die until the finale. But he is injured. His knee is injured, so he seems to have got some sort of injury during All Out War. So that's actually very interesting, because now we know Morgan is going to be injured in The Walking Dead's original show. So we're looking out for that. So it's cool how those two kind of connect, and how those two worlds are literally colliding.
I lose people, and then I lose myself.
We have Morgan saying, "I lose people and then I lose myself." I've talked at length about what that phrase means, so I'm not going to go into detail there. But the shot of him saying that seemed to be recorded with a camera recorder, so I'm not sure whether he records himself while he is going to Texas or on his journey there, or whether Madison and the others actually interview him before he joins the community, much like how Deanna did to Rick in the original Walking Dead, before he got to Alexandria. We have Morgan with his hands up here, and I think John had his hands up as well. And we have Morgan obviously being badass and getting out of the situation. But we do see some guards on the roof in the background there, so I'm not sure if these are some bad people that got into the community, or whether Morgan and John found themselves in a predicament situation and were captured or kidnapped by this group.
Thought I lost my kids.
We have Madison talking to Morgan saying, "I thought I lost my kids," referring to the events of the end of season 3 of Fear, when the dam exploded and everything.
Good, but I found them.
She says, "But I found them," which is obvious because they're all together now. We have this shot of everyone at the community again. They're most likely at the gates and they're watching some new character or new individual coming in. Maybe Morgan, maybe someone else.
We found this place.
And then we have Madison continuing to say, "And we found this place," referring to this community. And we also see in the background a bunch of walkers.
You should leave it. But it is not going to work out how you think.
We have Morgan saying, "You should leave now." I don't know what he's talking about, but he says, "It's not going to end how you think it's going to end," or something like that. Again, he doesn't have good experiences with big communities, with bad people around, so I'm sure that there's going to be a side of Morgan that's going to be a bit pessimistic based on his experiences and what he's gone through, so that's going to be interesting to see.
Be careful.
We have Luciana, Alicia, and somebody else going for a run, maybe getting supplies or whatever, but Nick is staying back at the community.
Why don't you ever go out there?
Because I like it better in here.
We have this child character that we saw before, and she asks Nick, "Why don't you go out there?" And he says, "I like it better here." So maybe we do have some bad experiences from Nick as well. And that's why he doesn't want to go out there anymore. But we do know that he most likely will go out there again, because we do see him outside the walls before he meets Morgan. So that's going to be interesting to see, what changes his mind.
Why'd you do it? Why'd you save me after what I did? You could have left me, but you didn't. You waited. For me.
We have a few shots of, again, the community, everyone working, living, basically, and we have a voiceover of Victor Strand asking Madison why she came after him, why she saved him, after what he did to not only Madison and the others, but Daniel as well, who, again, I don't know what happened to him. So I'm interested to see whether we will see that in this season, or whether they're just going to ignore that and pretend that character never existed.
Why?
Because I know who you are, Victor. That, and I really like drinking with you.
We have a bunch of traps from what it looked like and a bunch of walkers there. And we have, again, this new character, Althea, in her SWAT car.
New people.
And then these big-ass machine guns pop out. And we have John, Morgan, and some others captured there. So I'm sure this is related to the other shot that we saw of Morgan. Someone pointing the gun at Morgan, and then Morgan started hitting them all. John was there as well, so I'm assuming both of them do get captured again, or maybe that was before this.
I like new people.
And then she says, I like new people. So there seems to be a lot of funny lines here and there in this season, so it's going to be interesting to see whether it's going to feel forced or whether it's going to work. From what I've seen so far, all of the funny lines that they've had have worked, but it might be just in the trailer. But I'm very interested to see whether they're going to be a bit more soft and not as dark as maybe what Walking Dead is and maybe what they were before. I don't know if there's going to be a new big villain introduced or what's going to happen there, but there seems to be some sort of conflict, which is inevitable. We have that huge explosion. I think that was Naomi. We have a bunch of walkers go down. That was very cool to see. A bunch of explosions, a bunch of machine guns shooting people, shooting walkers maybe. We have Morgan running, so there's a lot of things happening that I can't really go into detail to each specific shot, but there seems to be a lot happening. Then, the end of the trailer. This is my favorite part of the trailer, and I don't really want to say too much. I just want to play it and watch it again and let you guys watch and probably laugh at the end of it.
Are you worried? I'm just gonna...
I'm not worried.
So that's what I was talking about before when I said maybe Morgan is just too badass for Nick. That's basically the end of the trailer. I'm very excited for this new season of Fear the Walking Dead. I didn't think I would be this excited, but I'm actually very, very excited. This was a great trailer. They did a great job, and it seems to be a brand new beginning of the show, in my opinion. So that's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.